Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're talking about Murder by the Seashore. It's a cozy mystery. It's the first book in the California Bookshop Mysteries. So you know it's about a bookshop on the beach in California. I enjoyed this. It's not the strongest mystery I've read for a first book in a cozy series, but it's strong enough and I see some promise for development in this series for stronger mysteries in the future. What I enjoyed a lot is the characters and their interactions, because in cozy mysteries, those characters and those interactions play a big part in the whole story. They were quite strong in this book. So I can see from all that, there's a lot of potential in this series for great books in the future. And I'm looking forward to more books in this series. So our main character, Scarlett, she's trying to make the most of her new bookshop. It's been open for a couple of months. And also, her boyfriend's just taken off. He's got a job opportunity or something somewhere else. He's decided to call it quits with the bookstore and with their relationship, and he's taken off. So she's struggling by herself because they were running it together. In the bookstore as well, we have Evelyn, who helps Scarlett in the bookstore as an employee. I like both the characters in this book. They have great interactions and they're both quite engaging as characters. Am I happy with the name Scarlett for a main character? Not really. Personally, it's not a name I would choose if I was writing a cozy mystery. But not up to me, up to the author. But for me, Scarlett, I'm just not happy with that name. But anyway, in this story, tourist season is fast approaching, and in this town, all the stores rely on tourist season because when it's not tourist season, their sales drop down a bit. But then one morning, she stumbles across a dead body near the pier. And this dead body, when they find out who it is, it's quite shocking. First they find out it's a customer from the previous day, and this person bought some books at Scarlett's store. That's how Scarlett remembers her. But then there's more ties, and this is how Scarlett soon becomes the main suspect in this mystery. This strange lady who just appeared in this town. They find out she's left Scarlett everything in her will. Nobody knows why. So the police suspect Scarlett for this lady's death. And they think Scarlett already knew about this will. So as a cozy trope, this is what happens in some cozies. The main character is accused of murder, so they start investigating to clear their own name. That's how many cozy mystery series start their first book, and it happens in this book. I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs of the mystery, because I don't want to give anything away about the mystery. That's the setup for this book. I just want to give you the setup for why Scarlett, the main character, decides to dig into this mystery, because if the main character doesn't, it can't be called a cozy mystery. So the book in general, I like the setting. I like cozy mysteries set in bookshops or libraries. Give me a cozy mystery series that has that and I'll read it. The beach setting I can give or take. I don't need that, but I just like that bookshop setting. And I like Scarlett and Evelyn in that bookshop because they have great interactions there and they have some interesting customers as well. All the characters in this first book seem well developed and believable. I like the fact we have a mix of genders and ages for the main characters. Well, so far we do anyway. And I'm interested to see what happens with these main characters as they develop more in the series. I've got things in mind already for those characters that I'd like to see, and I'm wondering if that will come to pass or not. That's interesting in series like this because as you get to know the characters more and more, you start to wonder about them, what happens if, and then you wonder if that will happen in the series. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not. That's some of the fun with a series like this. The mystery itself wasn't that strong. It was quite predictable, I think, but I still think that in future books, those mysteries will get stronger. I can just kind of see that potential in this series, because even though the mystery wasn't that strong, it was quite clever still. And I like the way Scarlett investigated the mystery. I like the way it unfolded in the book. So I can just see potential in this series for stronger mysteries in the future. On the cozy side, this book ticks so many boxes. I mean, the characters are good, the setting's good. I like the bookshop setting very much. The beach, I can give or take that, but it is in a beach setting. So if I want to read this series more and more, we'll get more beach things going on in this series, I'm sure. I like the fact we have a range of customers coming into the series as well. I like other characters in this series so far, and that's surprising sometimes because sometimes you don't like all those support characters in a cozy series. But so far, I like all those support characters, even the police character. And in the Cozy Mystery series, the police character is often there to dissuade the main character from investigating. And in this book, that happens. Another trope for a Cozy Mystery. But I like that police character very much. And you have to have that connection between the main character and somebody in law enforcement in the Cozy Mystery series that's usually there. Because otherwise, they can't get information. And they need that connection to do that. So I like that in this series. I like those cozy things that are ticked off in this series because they make this whole book more enjoyable. They make it more fun. They drag you into the story more, into the setting more. And when you get engaged with those characters, you feel like you're there and you get to know those characters. So I'm interested to see what happens in future books in this series, and I want to read more in this series. Scarlett, the protagonist in this story, I enjoyed her in this book. She's clever, insightful. She's also a bit cynical, which is a great mix for me in this book. I like the way she went about investigating things, the way the mystery unravelled with her at the helm. That doesn't always happen in the first book in a series. Sometimes it feels a bit clumsy, feels a bit clunky in the story. But in this book, it actually worked. And that's why I can see just great improvement going on in this series. I can imagine that because in this first book, that played out quite well in the story. So as characters go, as protagonists go in a Cozy Mystery series, I enjoyed Scarlett a lot. Despite not liking the name Scarlett that much as for a main character in a series, I thought the character herself was quite well done, quite well developed, got a good history, got a good well-rounded character as well, and there's so many things I can see developing for Scarlett in the future. Evelyn, who's Scarlett's employee in her bookstore, I liked her a lot, and Evelyn is a link for Scarlett and the police force because Evelyn's husband is a detective on the police force. I was confused with her age though in the story. It took me a while to figure out her age. At the start of this story, I thought she was younger than she is in the story, and only later on I worked out she was older. So I think that was a bit maybe clumsily done for Evelyn in the story. The only kind of miss, I think, for a character in this book. But other than that, I liked Evelyn quite a lot. I like her energy. She's very fun, very vibrant. I like the fact that she kind of supports Scarlett as well at different times in this story. And I like her getting involved in different things in this book. She came alive at different parts in this story towards the end more, and I enjoyed that a lot. Lucia is Scarlett's best friend and roommate in this story. Not the first time in a Cozy Mystery series where we've had a best friend and roommate angle. It does work in this story. I like Lucia because she's like a balance for Scarlett. In this book, Lucia is a lawyer and she's more logical. Scarlett is more emotional in the story, so there's a good balance there. And Lucia kind of digs in and helps her out in this mystery as well. I'll be interested to see how that lawyer angle plays out in the story. We see it play out in different ways in this first book. I'm wondering if that will repeat itself in other books in this series or have different elements coming into the story. But Lucia is very interesting as a character, adds a lot of vibrancy, a lot of colour, a lot of enjoyment into the book and fun as well. And I like the interactions in this story. So I think as characters go, this book has a great mix of characters and they're all very believable. They all add so much into the story and they're all very fun as characters in this book. I really enjoyed this read. Not my favourite first book in a Cozy Mystery series, but it's very enjoyable, very engaging, and I think a lot of readers will enjoy it. If you like cozies, I think you'll enjoy this. I don't think it's going to win over too many people who don't like cozy mysteries already, but I think cozy mystery lovers will really enjoy this story, especially if you like cozy mysteries based around bookstores. I rate this a 3.5 out of 5. very enjoyable. It's quite a quick read, but the characters, the setting, those interactions with the characters really make this book so fun and engaging. On my channel, I review many cozy mysteries. If you enjoy cozy mysteries, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to a video for another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.